Hey yo, what's up everybody, it's me, We're here back with a brand new What If video, and this time it's part 2 for What If Naruto had Anti-Chakra. If you guys have not seen part 1, go back and check in the upper right hand corner. There will be a link to a playlist, you can check out part 1, then come here. But anyway, if you have not already, please make sure to slap the like button on this video, as well as subscribe to my channel for more videos like this from me. And enough with that, let's just get into this part for What If Naruto had Anti-Chakra. We can see Naruto creeping along the shadows, as he's pretty much unsensible by most ninjas since his chakra pathways don't have chakra inside of them. This meaning that any sensory ninja that would even be near the third Hokage would not be able to even track Naruto. And this Naruto with Anti-Chakra is pretty much the same as the Naruto that we have from the original timeline, who still managed to steal the scroll's ceiling pretty much unnoticed. And this version of Naruto is even stronger since he's been doing physical training for a long time now. Anyhow, Naruto climbs up into the third Hokage's office and would see the scroll that Mizuki-sensei had told him about. Naruto would grab the scroll and dip out the window as he jumps before anyone can notice him. Naruto lands on his feet with a cushion of rock and dirt, with a bit of dust coming off from the bottom of his shoes as he lands. Naruto would check behind to make sure no one was there, and conveniently enough, there was no one. As Naruto has the scroll on his back, he would then head out to the woods where he said he'd meet with Mizuki. As he looks down at the scroll, he would then find some very interesting information. As Naruto looks through the scroll, he would eventually come across something called the Shadow Clone Jutsu. Since he had some time before Mizuki would come and find him in the scroll so he could finally get his headband and become a graduate from the academy, Naruto would decide what's the harm in looking through the scroll a little bit, as he looks through several other jutsus before he decides that the Shadow Clone Jutsu is the best one for him. And he decided that it looked pretty interesting. Naruto began practicing as he focuses 100% on trying to master these hand seals and also just learn about this jutsu in general. As Naruto works on mastering the Shadow Clone Jutsu, he would attempt the hand seals over and over again, but he wouldn't be able to do it. Just like he was unable to do the Clone Jutsu or any other jutsu before, he would fail again, causing Naruto to get frustrated as he kicks the scroll. The scroll would unwrap a bit further, where we would then see something quickly scribbled inside the very bottom of the scroll. So old, in fact, that it's almost like the parchment itself has withered away from the scroll. Naruto would barely be able to make out one thing though, and that would be called inverse hand seals. Naruto would think about what the word inverse means before he decides that he'll try whatever that could be. As we see Naruto working around with his hands just before figuring something out, as we see him punch his hand into his fist with a smile on his face. This will be when Mizuki-sensei arrives as he laughs, throwing a shuriken towards Naruto. Naruto's fine-tuned senses would easily pick this up as he opens his hand and grabs the shuriken out of midair before throwing it at the tree. "What's that all about?" Naruto would say as he looks up to see Mizuki-sensei standing there. "What's that all about, nine-tailed brat?" Mizuki would say, as he would look down at Naruto with a conceived look on his face, smiling and laughing. "Give me the scroll, or die," Mizuki would say. Naruto would stand up as he tells him why, asks him why he wants to kill him. Naruto would look him right in the eyes and Mizuki would look down at him, with Mizuki laughing and explaining to Naruto that he in fact is the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, and that the Nine-Tails monster that everyone talks about that had destroyed the village so many years ago was sealed inside of him. Naruto would be shocked as he had no idea and looks down at himself, realizing that there had to have been a reason why all the villagers hated him, and this was it. This would be around the time when Iruka would be coming around to try and save Naruto, as a giant shuriken would come flying towards Naruto. Iruka would jump in the way and take the blow. Damn it, Naruto would think, not having thought that Iruka was going to take the blow for him. Why? Iruka-sensei, why would you do that? Naruto would ask as Iruka says that Naruto is one of his precious students. Naruto would say he's lying. You're lying! Naruto would repeat this again as he tells Iruka that he hates him. Iruka, you hate me, don't you? You look at me with anger and despair every time you look at my face, Naruto would say, with rage now peeking into his eyes. Iruka would laugh as he then says that he had for a long time. But by looking at it from another angle, he can see that Naruto was suffering too, just like he did. What are you talking about? Naruto would say, as Iruka would explain how the Nine-Tails had killed his parents before his very eyes. And he knew that it wasn't Naruto's fault. Naruto, you're not a demon. You're not that fox. You didn't kill my parents. You didn't kill anyone. Naruto's whole body would shake and quiver, as Naruto's pupils would then become sharper and straighten, as he realizes that he's watching as Iruka is going to get hurt because of him, sacrificing himself because of Mizuki wants the scroll. If you want to really have the scroll, you can take it, Naruto would say. As Naruto would pick up the scroll, Naruto would then kick it away, as Mizuki would try and jump for it. Not on my watch. Naruto would begin to use hand seals, but they're not the ones that we're used to. In fact, it's the opposite. Naruto took all the hand seals from the Shadow Clone Jutsu and inversed them, by taking the positioning as well as each hand and flipping which direction they'd be in. So since the Shadow Clone Jutsu has the left hand with 2 fingers pointing up and the right hand facing to the left, then in this version, it'd be the opposite. As Naruto flips the hand seals, Mizuki would laugh, saying that that's not how you do that jutsu, before suddenly he'd be shocked. A puff of black energy would appear, as a dark and red energy would erupt from Naruto. I did it, Naruto would say, as we see this clone run towards Mizuki and then attack him. What the? Suddenly Mizuki would get punched as hard as the clone can, causing Mizuki's chakra pathways to get completely hit out of whack, as Mizuki can't feel his chakra. This kid! Was that the gentle fist? No, there's no way! Naruto isn't a Hyuga, he shouldn't be able to use that technique! Mizuki was one of the villagers who hadn't been able to watch Naruto draining the Nine Tails when he was a baby, so he wouldn't know that Naruto has the ability of Anti-Chakra, as Naruto's clone would have already pummeled Mizuki in almost one hit, but that wasn't enough for Naruto. Let's do it more, Naruto would say, as he focuses his Anti-Chakra into his hands and makes the seal again, this time making 100 Anti-Chakra shadow clones. These clones would all jump on Mizuki and beat him, as every blow takes more and more of Mizuki's chakra away. Unlike when Naruto was a baby and was unconsciously using his Anti-Chakra, now Naruto's body is much bigger, and so his chakra vessels, or what would be chakra vessels that hold his Anti-Chakra, are much more honed from all of his training. So Naruto isn't erasing Mizuki's chakra, he's just taking and draining it, so he's basically siphoning his chakra away. As Mizuki feels his energy draining away, Mizuki would be now passed out from his chakra usage, or lack of usage you could say, as Mizuki passes out on the ground. Iruka-sensei, are you okay? Iruka would look up to Naruto, as he said that he knew he could do it, as he saw all of those shadow clones that Naruto made. Iruka would take off his headband as he gives it to Naruto, saying he passes, with Naruto feeling a joy inside him he hadn't felt for what would seem to be ages. Naruto would laugh and smile as he thanks Iruka and says that he's got to get him out of there, as Naruto would pick up Iruka-sensei and take him to the hospital, as well as would have one of his clones grab the scroll. Just before Naruto is taking the scroll away, we would see the faintest illumination of a yellow eye with black skin surrounding it, as we see Black Zetsu laugh as he takes away the piece of paper he had added to the scroll just before Naruto had looked at it. This paper having written on it inverse hand seals, as Black Zetsu would then rip up the paper as he teleports away. Naruto would be looking down at the scroll to see where he had read that beforehand, but it was gone, and Naruto would have no idea what happened. But I just saw it. Naruto wouldn't shake it off as he runs off, with Black Zetsu now disappearing into the darkness, with no idea on how his plan was going to go, and how Naruto would fit into that. Naruto, as well as Iruka, would then make it to the hospital as Iruka would be treated for his injuries, with him being healed up. Naruto would then go home after giving back the scroll to the third Hokage, with the third Hokage laughing as he had watched the fight, thinking that was rather interesting. Naruto would wake up pretty early the next morning as he runs off to the academy, barging through the doors. Everyone's shocked seeing Naruto, as Naruto promptly walks up the stairs and takes his normal seat. Everyone would be shocked seeing the headband Naruto's wearing, thinking that Naruto somehow passed. They've never seen Naruto do a jutsu ever before. How did he pass? Even Shikamaru would be a bit shocked, as he had no idea how Naruto would even have managed to do that, having never been successful in doing a jutsu before, and just assuming that he was unable to. Naruto would laugh, as he would now wait for his sensei to arrive so that he could show everyone that he was going to become the Hokage someday. These minutes that they were taking before the senseis arrived would soon become to feel like hours, as almost every other team that had been announced besides Naruto's would have already had their sensei come pick them up. When Naruto had heard the news about him and Sasuke and Sakura being on the same team, Naruto would be pretty excited, but in this version, Naruto isn't exactly simping for Sakura like he did in the original, because like I said before, half of the village approximately, actually did like Naruto, and were trying to support him, so Naruto wasn't really as desperate for acceptance like he was in the original, and Naruto had already beaten Sasuke in a fight before, with pretty much one hit, Sasuke himself was wary of Naruto and his strange abilities, having already realized that Naruto was a bit different from everyone else, and he knew that he would be trouble for him later on. Anyhow, finally, after minutes turned to hours had finally passed, Kakashi would walk into the room as we see the white-haired shinobi, the Jonin himself, walk in, as he would then put up a hand and wave to his future team, saying that if they're going to be working together, they need to get a few things sorted out first, and to come to the roof. So Kakashi would take all of future Team 7 to the rooftop, where he would then ask them about their dreams, hopes, aspirations, and goals for the future. As he would then ask, with Sasuke starting off first, Sasuke would say that he doesn't have a dream. He has an aspiration that will become truth, reality. He's going to kill a certain someone. As Sasuke looks forward, seemingly staring into a void of an abyss that he can never return from. Sakura would just be staring at Sasuke, pretty much x-raying him, as Kakashi would ask her what her dreams were, with him already pretty much knowing. Sakura would just creepily whisper, "Sasuke," several times over and over again, while Sasuke is still staring into that abyss. Naruto would sigh as he has two weirdos on his team, as he would then ask Kakashi if it's his turn yet. Kakashi would turn over and see Naruto, as he would then tell Naruto and ask him what his goals were. Naruto would stand up proclaiming that he's going to become the Hokage of the Hidden Leaf. That's his dream. Also, he likes ramen a lot. Kakashi would laugh as Naruto would then put his hand down, pointing at Kakashi, saying that it's not funny to laugh at people's dreams, with Kakashi saying it's fine. It's just that all three of you are such weirdos, Kakashi would say as he's laughing, with Sakura, Sasuke, and Naruto all looking up, all being upset that they're being compared to each other. Kakashi would say that's enough as he then claps his hands together, saying that tomorrow they'll be meeting at the training grounds at dawn, and that to not eat any breakfast or dinner tonight. He would say this and tell all of them to come prepared and make sure they're ready for a fight. As Sasuke and Sakura would clear out, Naruto would also walk off as Kakashi would take one last glance at him. That boy is Sensei's son, he would think, as he remembers the day when he had saw Minato, Kushina, and Naruto against the Nine Tails. Kakashi would go home as he thinks about those events and thinks that it's going to be exciting to see what he can do tomorrow. Naruto at this point will be practicing his reverse hand seals on his Shadow Clone Jutsu, so that he can try and actually make Jutsu tomorrow against Kakashi, or what he thinks might be against Kakashi. If I could master my chakra, Naruto would think, then there's no way I can get beat with this Jutsu. Naruto, who doesn't actually know he has Anti-Chakra, is still in the mindset that he needs to learn Jutsu like every other shinobi, when in fact his body already is a weapon against shinobi. Naruto himself would continue focusing on this training until the night would pass and Naruto would oversleep as he runs off to the training grounds and being the last one there. Actually, second to last, as Kakashi would still have been lost on the path of life, he would say. Sasuke would sigh as Naruto arrives as the last one there out of the three of them, saying that their sensei still hasn't gotten there yet, with Sasuke now sitting on the log impatiently. Naruto would brush the back of his head as he looks up, wondering what's taking them so long, as Kakashi would finally arrive, saying that he's sorry he's late. But now that he's here, it's time to get started. Kakashi would close his book that he was reading, as he would then tell the three of them to get up. The three of them would be trying to take these two bells from him, he would say, as he holds up two silver bells in his hand. The two that can take it will pass, and the one that fails will go back to the academy, and have to keep working so they can become a genin. Naruto would harden his glare, as he tells Kakashi-sensei that he's not going to fail. Kakashi would say that now that they understand the rules, then I guess it's time we get started. Oh, but before that, Kakashi would say, before we get started, I just need to tell you that you can use any weapon that you can against me. Don't feel the need to hold back, alright? As Kakashi would say, Sasuke and Naruto would both become more serious, as Kakashi tells them that they're going to try and kill him for these bells. Kakashi then begin the countdown. 3, 2... Naruto would jump forward before the countdown just like he did in the original, with Kakashi teleporting pretty much directly behind him, or seemingly teleporting. Immediately as Kakashi turned around, Naruto would have noticed, as his eyes actually caught Kakashi's, with Kakashi shocked that Naruto could track him at that speed. Naruto would say he's got him as he turns around, grasping for the air where Kakashi's hand was with the bell. Kakashi would easily move out of the way using a substitution jutsu, saying he hadn't expected that, but get back to the starting line. Once I say 1, you can come after me, he would say. 3. Damn, this kid might be a problem. 2. 1. Immediately, Naruto would burst forward as the other two dive into the forest bushes, trying to get out of sight of their enemy. As Naruto runs towards Kakashi, his superhuman speed would freak Kakashi out as he jumps up into a tree to evade the attack, using his chakra and clinging to the tree itself. "Don't think you can run from me," he would tell Kakashi, thinking that he's definitely gonna get one of those bells. Kakashi would jump out of the way just in time as Naruto would throw a punch, punching the tree and actually splintering the trunk as the tree would begin to fall. "This kid has got some serious firepower," Kakashi would say, as Naruto's already chasing after Kakashi. "Luckily I'm still faster than him, but if it really came down to a 1v1 brawl, and neither of us could use chakra, then..." Kakashi would be watching Naruto, as Naruto's relying purely on physical strength. "That's how I'll beat him," Kakashi would think, as Kakashi would turn around, and as Naruto jumps towards him, he would use another substitution jutsu. With Naruto completely losing sight of his enemy, Kakashi would decide to take out the other two first. This would eventually prove to be a wise decision, as Kakashi would leap into the forest as Naruto would begin rampaging around. "Damn it, where is he?" Naruto would be jumping now as he climbs up a tree using his pure strength, jumping and leaping to the air as he catches himself on a branch. He would then run across the treetops as he's looking for Kakashi, hunting him down. Kakashi would laugh as he hasn't had a chase like this in a long time. This would be when he first sights Sakura, taking her out with a genjutsu easily, of Sasuke being in danger, causing Sakura to be out of the battle. Next, he would think, as we see Sasuke now preparing for the attack before he sees Kakashi coming at him. "Fire style! Fireball jutsu!" Sasuke would make the hands for the fireball jutsu as he would then blast this wave of heat towards Kakashi. This would also serve as an attack, but unironically would serve as a direction for Naruto to head to, as Naruto sees the burst of flame over the treetops. That's where he is, he would think, as he jumps towards the flames where he had seen that attack come from. Kakashi would already knock out Sasuke and put him in ropes, as Naruto suddenly comes from behind swinging. Kakashi would turn around pulling out a kunai to block, as Naruto has his own kunai he already pulled out as well, as he slashes at Kakashi. Kakashi would barely get cut from the edge of the kunai as he feels Naruto's pure strength push past him and almost break his wrist. "Damn, this kid is..." Suddenly Naruto would appear from behind Kakashi and says, "Nighty night!" His clone would then, the shadow clone that Naruto made, would punch Kakashi as hard as he can in the head. Kakashi would have not been expecting this. This kid can use the shadow clone jutsu? That's a pretty advanced jutsu for someone at his age. Kakashi would pretty much be unable to dodge this, as Naruto had used this attack as a sneak attack. However, just as he's about to get punched, we see Naruto in shock, as Kakashi pulls up his headband, having been forced to reveal his Sharingan. As Kakashi reveals his Sharingan, he would say that Naruto wins the fight, saying no one has ever pushed him this far as a genin. Kakashi easily moves out of the way as his perception of time is slowed down, with the Sharingan giving him much more precise movement speed. Naruto would have no idea what just happened as he sees the flash of red before him. As Kakashi dodges out of the way, Naruto would land on the branch, running into himself as his clone poofs, causing a wave of Anti-Chakra to surge out. "Wait, what?" Kakashi would say, as suddenly this burst of cloud that usually comes from shadow clones would be a dark black as it touches Kakashi. Kakashi would immediately cover back his Sharingan to not utilize too much chakra as he pushes himself back, feeling his entire left hand almost go numb. "Damn," he would say. "What is that? Is that the thing that Naruto used against the Nine Tails?" Kakashi would be thinking. Kakashi's chakra would quickly flow back into his hand as this itchy sensation would flow away. "Damn," he would say. Naruto hadn't erased Kakashi's chakra, he had simply negated it with that puff of smoke. However, that distraction was just enough that Naruto needed, as Naruto using his superhuman speed would jump off the branch, using it like a springboard as he rushes forward and grabs the bell out of Kakashi's hand. "Damn," Kakashi would say, as Naruto successfully captured one of the bells. Naruto would hold it up smiling, as Kakashi would be impressed with him. Kakashi would say that's enough for now and that they should go get Sakura and Sasuke, and they'll try again in an hour. Naruto would say that Kakashi's really strong, and Kakashi would agree, complimenting Naruto on his skill as well. Naruto would blush and rub his hand behind his head. He says, "Really?" as Kakashi would sigh, saying, "Let's go get the other two." Sakura and Sasuke would eventually wake up from the genjutsu and just normal attacks that they had taken, with Kakashi and Naruto sitting there enjoying their lunch. Kakashi would watch as Sakura and Sasuke are both tied up and unable to eat, as Naruto would thank Kakashi for the meal. Kakashi would then walk away, telling Naruto not to feed either of the two, as Kakashi walks off into the woods, watching carefully. Sasuke and Sakura would be sitting there as their stomachs would growl, with Sasuke looking away. Naruto would stand up as he picks up one of the other bento boxes, and would begin feeding Sasuke his food, with Sakura looking in absolute rage that Naruto is feeding Sasuke instead of her, with Naruto then doing the same with the other bento box for Sakura. The two would ask why Naruto is disobeying Kakashi, with Naruto saying that it's after all that fighting, it's pretty rude not to let them eat, and Kakashi can fight him again if he really wants to argue about it. Naruto would say confidently as he smiles. The two of them would be shocked that Naruto's so confident in his own skills, with Naruto turning around as he then walks away, saying that you're supposed to help your friends. Naruto would say this, but the two of them would catch it, as Naruto goes back to sit down and finish his own meal. Kakashi would suddenly come running out of the woods. He asks if Naruto fed them, with Naruto looking up and smiling, saying yeah. Kakashi would then slap Naruto on the head, saying he broke the rules, with Naruto saying ow. Kakashi would then say that those who break the rules are scum, but those who abandon their friends are worse than scum. Team 7 would all pass, with Naruto having shown this display of teamwork, and Kakashi would tell the other two that they need to pick up the slack, since Naruto won't always be there to stand up for them. Sasuke would take this to heart, as he feels himself feel a bit annoyed actually from this comment, telling him he won't even need to rely on Naruto. Naruto would turn around saying that he can rely on him as much as he wants Sasuke, with Naruto smirking. Sasuke and Sakura would be let out of the ropes as they would then eat their lunches, and Kakashi would send them on their way, saying that they'll begin missions starting the next week, with all of Team 7 pretty excited. That is, until their first mission would come in. Now, about a week later, we see Naruto running through the forest, as he sees a small furry creature running away from him. We see Naruto say, "Get back here, kitty," as he would then jump and leap, grabbing the black cat from the ground. It would meow as it looks up at Naruto, as Naruto laughs as he uses the radio saying he's acquired the target. Naruto would head back, where he, Sasuke, and Sakura, along with Kakashi, would then report to the third Hokage. Naruto would then, after they'd submitted their mission, as the third Hokage is about to pull out another D-rank mission, would then politely ask the third Hokage, as he then says, "I don't mean to be rude, but could we have a bit of a harder mission? I feel like this isn't exactly what shinobi are supposed to do, you know?" Naruto would say, as the third Hokage would think about it for a second, and then decide, debating that it could be interesting to see how Naruto could do in the field. He would tell Kakashi that they'll be taking on a C-rank mission, and asking if this is alright, with him then bringing Tazuna into the room. Tazuna would immediately bring with him the smell of booze, as he's pretty much falling all over himself, asking if these kids are really going to defend him. Naruto would smile, saying, "Yep, they sure are," as he would then tell the third Hokage and ask what's actually going on. The third Hokage would then tell the trio that they'll be defending this bridge builder to take him back to the Land of Waves, as he's an engineer that's working on designing a bridge that can take the Land of Waves to the mainland. Naruto would say that that sounds like an interesting mission, with Kakashi nodding and Sasuke agreeing too. The third Hokage would accept this, as the trio of Team 7 along with Kakashi would take Tazuna as they begin heading out of the gates. If you guys want to see the next part for What If Naruto Had Anti-Chakra, make sure to slap the like button, comment down below what you thought, and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this from me. I'll see all of you guys in the next one. Goodbye.